Hey you guys, this is Cherry Blossoms, and I am going to be working on another Let's Play visual novel thing. I've actually been doing a different one called Marigold right now, but I decided to sort of put that at a halt since I'd actually much rather do this one since it's my favorite. So yeah. I mean, I might continue the other one later, but for now we'll be working on this one, Autumn's Journey. So, Chapter 1, End of Summer. Sunlight filtered through the airy birch forest as lush ferns grazed my boots. I momentarily shielded my eyes before I turned north, treading carefully. The muggy atmosphere that had hung over the past few months was now being replaced by the subtle crispness of fall. Though the trees were still vibrantly green, apple picking season was fast approaching for the town of Barry. I cheerfully stretched one arm towards the sky, inhaling deeply. And thus my weekly scouting for monsters, bandits, or anything out of the ordinary that may harm local citizens is over. The voices. Okay. And that concludes my mission. I laughed, wondering why I was announcing my agenda to no one. I guess I always just wanted to say that aloud. Walking around alone does prompt you into monologuing, just so that you can hear a voice. I just wish I wasn't restricted to freelance work in Barry, though. How long is my training going to last? I'm more than ready for knighthood. I can do this. I adjusted the belt holding my sword, making sure that the hilt could be pulled out on a moment's notice. Humming, I decided to meander back to the village by following the thin river down the gentle slope. I loved the terrain here, not super rocky, but not entirely flat either. There was always an inclination, and higher up I could get a breathtaking panorama of Barry and its endless orchards. Especially in autumn, when the leaves were so vibrantly red that the entire forest seemed to ignite, and the smell of crisp frost and thick fallen foliage lingered welcomingly. Ooh, vocab. It was then I spotted something entirely out of the ordinary near a riverbank, leaning against a birch tree. I'm actually going to bring up the volume a little bit. Okay. Thin birch trees were not exactly known to be comfortable resting spots, and I didn't recognize the stranger's attire. Hello, are you a traveler? I love the music, okay. His face came into view, and I realized he was sleeping, but that's not what caught me off guard. He had beautiful protrusions resembling, oh my goodness, shale shards jutting out of his long hair, right where someone's ear should be, or was it a decoration covering his ears? Suddenly I wanted to touch them, but I resisted. If he woke up in an untimely manner, it would be awkward to explain. At first I was about to leave, but then I noticed something else rather odd. From a simple glance I saw no bags, no possessions, or anything else on him. This place was too far away from civilization for a simple afternoon stroll. Was he mugged? And if he had been buried previously, I would have known. It was that small of a town. Curiosity won me over. Hello? A flicker of concern passed over my face. I grabbed his shoulder and gave it a gentle shake, finding his lack of response unnerving. I quickly hovered a hand in front of his nose. Sure enough, he was breathing. Oh my gosh. And I didn't see any injuries, so it's just he was knocked unconscious. After some more feeble attempts to wake him, I decided to improvise a camp. I didn't want to leave him unattended, and I knew I couldn't drag his body very far. Tossing down my bag, I went to work. Okay. Oh yeah, and if any of you guys aren't really familiar with visual novels, it's just like a story that has pictures, visuals. But then also oftentimes, like this one, there are options that you can do that'll change the story and give you new endings and stuff. It's awesome. Okay. Fire crackled merrily on the birchwood as I opened my cloth, which contained a lump of rye bread and hard cheese. These were emergency rations, lest I was unable to return to Barry. Mother and father were probably worried. Just as I was about to bite into the cheese, I saw movement and glanced up, eyeing the stirring stranger. Setting my food down, I cautiously shuffled over. I previously placed his body in a supine position and used my bag as a substitute pillow. Though it was probably more lumpy than anything else, it was better than nothing. Are you awake now? You've been out all afternoon. I was getting worried. I trailed off before I started rambling and watching him curiously as he opened his eyes. In a split second, he shot up and then clumsily fell back. I caught his arm to steady him. Whoa, take it easy. You just got up. Ooh, lagging a bit. Okay. He flinched from the skin contact, and I hastily let go, retreating slightly. I didn't get any sense of hostility, but he certainly seemed bewildered. Who are you? Oh, I don't know, maybe I should do a different voice. I guess I won't. There was an uneasy edge in his voice, not quite of panic, but more of anger. It was then I noticed that his eyes were a brilliant shade. Oh, a brilliant amethyst hue, contrasting with his earthy hair tones. Better to remain calm. How do I pronounce this? Areli? Areli? I'll just say Areli, because that's how I would have pronounced it in my head. But anyways, Areli, I found you in the woods outside of Barry. The surprise didn't leave his eyes. They darted quickly to his hands, which then covered his face. Lastly, he ran his fingers through his brown hair. The horror on his face was so unsettling that I dumbly sat there for several seconds before mustering the courage to address him again. Are you alright? Obviously not, but I wanted a better grasp of the situation. He attempted to sit up again, but this time I was prepared. Again he was repelled by my touch, and I gave up the desire to help him that way. He still appeared unstable, but ceased his sudden movements at least. He actually did it. Oh, well, he said it. He clutched at his temples, his fingers grazing over the odd fixations in the place of his ears. He wobbled as he tried to stand, and I impatiently rushed to his side. Stop it, you obviously can't move in your condition, so you might as well sit down and clear your head. What is going on? Who are you, and why are you... Oh, and what are you doing here? He looked at me as if he was registering me for the first time since asking who I was. Everything about him screamed overwhelmed, and he simply grit his teeth in frustration. Oh, see, option time. Okay. So, I have played through this before, which is... Oh, right, I did say it was my favorite. So I'll do this. Ask if he's hungry. That is the polite thing to do anyways. I decided to find another angle to help him open up. I didn't consider myself intimidating, but it was impossible to have... He had no desire to answer anything. Are you hungry? I softened my voice and returned to my spot by the fire. I grabbed the cloth and genially, I think, I'm not exactly sure, offered him the rye, bread, and cheese. Rude. He only arched an eyebrow in disgust. What is that? That? It's food. You chew it. I ripped off a piece of the dark bread and demonstrated, humming delightedly to show that it was edible. He scoffed and averted his eyes.
I don't care.
I don't want it. It looks revolting. Sorry, my peasant food does not please my lord's tastes. Ugh, his attitude was rubbing off on me. Calm down. If anything, he's hiding that he's scared. He did just wake up in a foreign place. Are you nobility? Tut-tut-tut. He fell silent, and only the occasional crackle of the fire and the hooting of the owls interrupted the stillness. I leaned back and ruminated over my meal, careful to leave some food untouched in case he changed his mind. Ah, there was that apple tart too. Immediately looks over anyways. I'll save it for later. I wrapped up the cloth, only vaguely aware that the stranger was examining my every movement. It nettled me slightly, but I decided not to comment. I didn't want to do anything that would cause him to raise his guard even more. It was now dark, and I occasionally fed the fire, getting the feeling I was going to be spending the night. After what seemed like an eternity, he finally spoke up. Who are you again? Areli, I'm from the town of Barry. And you? Kerr. Kerr? 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 I don't know what I'm going to do. Whatever. We'll just see what pops out of my mouth when he says his name again. He reluctantly uttered the name, gazing into the fire. He seemed much calmer now. And how did you get here? His lip curled. Just lip, not lips. Oh well. Almost smirking knowingly. You probably wouldn't believe it if I told you. You have unusual eyes and a strange fashion accessory over your ears. I think I could find your story credible. He flexed his hand. scrutinizing his fingers carefully. I didn't come here willingly. Out of all places, I don't see why you decided to drop me in this low-born, simplistic... Wow. Care? I guess I'll say it like that. Okay. He glanced at me, as if offended that I addressed him directly. So, where are you from? I'm not particularly tied to any region. If it's not obvious already, I'm not one of you. He tapped his knee petulantly. So much vocab. I'm one of the dragons, an earth dragon. Ooh. And the music comes back too. Yay. He stated it full of pride, with no ounce of humility. Dubiously. I expected him, sorry, I was just wondering if I pronounced that correctly. I inspected him from head to toe, taking note of the stone-like juts for ears and his remarkable eyes. He balked under my stare, but quickly regained his dignity. His eyebrows furrowed fiercely. So why would an earth dragon be here? It's not because I wanted to. He blurted it out angrily, then touched his unique ears for comfort. I sighed, then tilted my head from side to side as I absorbed his explanation. Alright, I'll admit I'm not exactly accepting this as feasible, but I'm not dismissing it either. You can't transform back? If I could, do you think I would remain in this pathetic body? So weak. I instinctively patted my sword hilt to counter that remark, but stopped when I saw him attempt to stand again. It was like watching a toddler take his or her first steps, but instead of cutely coaxing, I was fervently discouraging his efforts. You've already established that you're unfamiliar with your form. Besides, it's too dark to walk around aimlessly. I'll find a walking stick for you and we can turn to Barry if you'd like. I'd feel wrong if I had abandoned you in this state.
I don't need your help.
Are you saying I can't handle myself? Yes we are. Oh, I'm pointing it out. Realizing we were both escalating our voices, I looked away in a huff, not wanting to have our encounter turn sour so rapidly. An altar. I need to find an altar. You Heavenkind worship us, right? Oh gosh. Well, yeah, I mean, the Dragonkind were here first, so it's only natural we pay our respects. I admit, I thought dragons were more divine and irreproachable. Care was definitely giving me a different impression. Just a little. I barely knew anything about the Dragonkind, though. They focused on their own affairs. You will take me there. It was a plain statement, not a suggestion nor a plea. Why an altar? They're all Heavenkind made. How would it help you? He parried my question exasperatedly. Doesn't matter. Do you know where one is? Yeah. Yes, there's one not far from here. There's a cave that leads to it. Relief washed over his face, and for a second, and for once, his scowl vanished. Good. We should go there this instant. He obstinately, oh gosh. Is that even how you would, oh whatever. Tried to stand up again, but I lunged forward and firmly sat him back down. He gaped at me in disbelief, but my will was as stubborn as his. Morning. We'll do this in the morning. Get some sleep and I'll find you an ideal walking stick. I don't think you'll master bipedalism without some assistance, especially not in the day, and it'll be difficult if I have to physically support you the whole way there. So just take it easy tonight. I'll even keep watch while you sleep. After my entreatment, he fell silent and gave a reluctant nod, closing his eyes warily. I sighed gratefully, feeling moderately triumphant over the battle of pig-headedness. Wow, good job, Raleigh. As Care was grumbling, I leaned over and pulled a small blanket out of my bag. The temperature was still pleasant, even at night, and it could cool rapidly, especially since it was the end of summer. After returning some items to my bag, I reshaped it so that it was a passable pillow again and offered it to Care, who seemed puzzled by its purpose. Believe me, you'll need something more comfortable, or you'll have trouble sleeping. Worse, you'll wake up with a sore back and getting to the altar will be even more troublesome. You've already slept on it once. I think you can figure out how to support your head with it again. I laughed sheepishly at my own stab at lightening the mood, but I could tell it wasn't working for Care. Disgruntled. What? Disgruntled? Isn't. Oh, I thought it was supposed to be disgruntled or something. No. He lay down on his side and experimented with a few positions before resting his head in satisfaction. At first he refused to use the blanket, but as the temperature dropped, he discreetly pulled it towards him when he thought I wouldn't notice. Cute. Probably to hide his expression, he rolled over so his back was to me in the campfire. I had the feeling the initial shock took a lot out of him, and I admittedly hadn't helped when he ruffled my feathers more than once. Now that he was sleeping, though, any irritation I still felt dispersed along with the summer heat. I poked my fire and stayed on my watch until exhaustion beguiled me into resting my eyes for just a few minutes. Okay, I think we're going to stop right here, and I'll see you guys. Oh, look at the cute little chibi thing. So I'll see you guys in the next episode, if you keep on watching. But yeah, so it's just going to go on like this for a bit, and I hope you guys like it. I really like this visual novel, so I actually really hope that you guys like it as much as I do. I'll leave a link into the description below for you to download it and play it. It's completely free. And yeah, anyways, thanks for watching.